even with the current time that we're living in, that still isn't stopping me from enjoying the vibe of one of my favourite holidays ever, Halloween. And so, during this month, whilst I've been binge watching these classic monster movies for the first time, I've also been tackling a game from one of the most iconic franchises, and that is Resident Evil. This being one of the most interesting since my first time experiencing the first installment was actually 2 years ago, but I didn't get a chance to finish it since I was so alienated by the different and somewhat questionable game mechanics, similar to some of the earlier Pokemon games. Which is why I have to apologize for saying that while I can understand and respect for its favoritism and level of quality for most players, with my skill set and possible lack of patience, remake or not, it came across as a teeny bit overrated. Like, I know it was one of the first to create the whole survival horror genre, but probably because I decided to play as Chris instead of Jill, one of the most annoying occurrences during my playthrough was the whole item management system. Even though it was fortunate enough that there were multiple storage units and safe rooms, I always felt the need to be highly prepared when venturing in new territory, that it also led to me sacrificing important items just to make space for plot progression. It's also worth mentioning that by the time I actually finished the game, it was technically my third attempt since, coming from the words of a man who's tackled the first two Zelda games, Resident Evil during most of your first run is what I classify as a guide game. Because in order to save time in case of multiple deaths, as well as the fact that you have limited times of saving with ink ribbons, I had to rely on one because I was getting so sick of being lost and having absolutely no idea what to do. Not to mention with my discovery that there were actually multiple endings. Blame it on my generation, I suppose. To avoid coming across as an ignorant arsehole, I should probably shift to being a bit more positive since there are things that I actually do like about this game and can agree with most fans on. The first and most obvious being is its atmosphere. When comparing it to the PS1 original, the level of detail and quality put into the visual aesthetic of the mansion and other locations are just absolutely marvelous. That, alongside the eerie and very creepy music slash sound effects, led to an experience that truly succeeded in terrifying me, as well as good at showcasing that cheap jump scares and spontaneous moments weren't all that were necessary to make me scared. The lore and mystery behind what happened at the mansion was also very interesting since a lot of it was hidden behind secret files and documents about the previous owners and the people that worked there. And as for the characters that were present, the voice acting was thankfully a massive step up to the hilariously bad ones in the original. Nothing great, but decent enough to deliver what was being shown. Lastly, it was really fortunate that in this version they gave you the option of having either a tweaked control system or the original tank controls, since chances are if I decided to play it that way, I would have struggled tremendously since in any case of any game, I like to have complete control of my character's movements to avoid running into even the smallest amount of danger. So for my proper introductory to the series, Resident Evil was a game that I had quite a good time with. Like I said, certain mechanics and design choices makes it difficult to recommend to select players that have been spoiled with more forgiving systems. That still doesn't deny that what this game did for the industry was quite extraordinary. And whenever I'll get into some of the other games that have been reformed and even experimented for different experiences, I just know that I'll have just as much fun, if not more so, than what I've played thus far. I'm going to give the remake of Resident Evil a 7 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching what is likely a mini review. Sorry I didn't get a chance to make this more in depth, but I really wanted this to be out on time. I should clarify once more that it's likely that a lot of you are not going to agree with some of my thoughts and overall score, But just remember that so long as it's made a bigger and more positive impact on you, then that's absolutely fine. Just showcases that you're probably more capable than I'll ever be. So anyway, thank you once again for checking out my video. If you want to see some of my other content, click on the links that are on screen right now, and to stay updated on when I upload next, click right here to subscribe to my channel. Until we meet again, I'm Callum Jones, wishing you all to stay safe, take care out there, and happy Halloween.